So today I'll be taking you physics and the topic is projectile. My name is Orishola Precious. So I'll be taking you physics. Now let's start projectile. Projectile. Now what do we call projectile? Projectile is an object. Is an object thrown upward and thrown into the air and allowed to move freely under gravity. Is an object thrown into the air and allowed to move freely under gravity. Now, examples of projectile. We have a arrow, a shoot arrow. We have javelin. When you throw a javelin, are you getting me? So that is projectile. Now, let's have a diagram illustrating the projectile. Let's have our now the distance from which our object is being thrown. Let's say our object is thrown from here. Our object, let's say a ball, or let's say a javelin. Let's say the object is thrown. Let's say this is the object. It's thrown from here. Now, the point at which it's thrown to the point at which it will land is what we call horizontal range. Our horizontal range. Horizontal range. Now, the point at which you throw it to the highest level it will attain is what we call the maximum height. This is the highest level at which this object attains. That is the maximum height. We call that maximum height. Let's say h. Let's give this r. Now, between here and here, between your horizontal height, between your horizontal range, and when you project your object is what we call the angle of projection. Angle of projection. We call this angle of projection. Now, this object will be moving at a particular velocity, an initial velocity. Let's say u. An initial velocity u. Initial velocity. This is our initial velocity. So we have our angle of projection, maximum height, the horizontal range, or you call it, yes, you can call it just range. We also have our initial velocity, which is u. Now, let's find terms relating. The terms related to projectile. We have some terms related to projectile. The first one is the time taken to reach the maximum height. Now, how can you find the time taken to reach the maximum height? The maximum height. Now, the time taken for this object to reach this maximum height, let's say t. Let the time be t. Now, the time taken is u sine theta over g. Are you getting me? Is what? U sine theta over what? Over g. Now, another term relating to projectile, which they can ask you to find, is the time of flight. Your time of flight, which is t. Let's say t, capital letter t. It is when you multiply 2 by your time taken to reach the what? Maximum height. When you multiply 2 by this time taken to reach the maximum height, you have your time of flight. That is 2 times u sine theta over g. Then what are we going to have? You're going to have 2u sine theta over g. I hope you remember what is theta. Your angle of projection, right? And your g is what? Your g is the acceleration due to gravity. Your g is acceleration due to gravity, and your u is what? The initial velocity. Now, the third one is the maximum height. Your maximum height. Now, the maximum height, which is h, when you want to find your maximum height, the formula we use is u squared sine squared theta over 2g. U squared sine squared theta over 2g. You square your initial velocity sine squared theta. And please always note that this can also be written in u squared sine theta, everything squared over 2g. So it can also be written in this way because when you have sine squared theta, it's also the same thing as sine theta, everything all square. Are you getting me? It's also the same thing as this. So if you have your angle, they gave you your angle and they gave you your initial velocity, and you are given your g, which is 10 meters per second squared. Now, what you just need to do is to impute your values inside to find your what? Maximum height. Now, the fourth one is the maximum, is the range. We call it horizontal range. The horizontal range. The horizontal range, which is R. Now, your horizontal range, the formula for finding the horizontal range is u 2u sine 2 theta over g. The horizontal range R is equal to u squared sine 2 theta over g, where your u remains your initial velocity and your theta here remains your angle of projection. Now they can ask you this question, that at what angle is your horizontal range maximum? At what angle will your horizontal range be maximum? What they are asking you to find is your R maximum. At what range, at what angle can this R be maximum? This is it. Now, for it to be maximum, you will be having this as 1. Your sine 2 theta must be equals to 1 for it to be maximum. This sine 2 theta must be what? Equals to what? 1. This is what I mean. If your sine 2 theta equals to 1, then you have what? Then you have 2 theta equals to arc sine of what? Arc sine of 1, right? Do you get me? So theta will be equals to what? 2 theta is equals to, what is arc sine of 1? That is what? 90, right? Now divide both sides by what? 2. Then you have theta equals to 90 degree over 2. Then equals to 45 degree. Do you get me? So at maximum, then you write, coming at maximum, your theta must be equal to what? 45 degree. That is for R to be maximum. For R to be maximum. For R to be maximum. Your theta must be what? 45 degree. Now let's check. Now what will be our value now for R? Now your R maximum will be equal to what? U squared times 1, right? Since our sine 2 theta is already 1, our sine 2 theta here is what? 1. If what? If our theta is what? 45 degree. Do you get me? This is what I'm saying. If this is sine 2 times 45 over what? G. Then you have times what? That is sine 90 over what? G. Then you have u squared times what is sine 90? That is 1, right? Over G. And that is u squared over what? G. That is the R maximum. This is one of the questions they can ask you, that at what point or at what angle is your what? Is your angle of projection? What angle will be your angle of projection when your R is maximum? So your angle of projection will be 45 degrees. Now, let's pick a question. Now they can ask you your horizontal component and vertical component. Your horizontal component and vertical component. Now we are having theta here and we are having our initial velocity as, let's say u. Okay, let's say ux. Let me use it as ux. Now what will be our horizontal component? This is it. Let's do that triangle. Let's say we have a triangle here. Are you getting it? Let's say we have a triangle, right? Now this is theta. We don't know this side, right? But we know this as ux. Are you getting me? Now let's say we want to find this side. Let's say this is y. Now using SOHCAHTOA, using cos. Cos is what? Adjacent over what? Hypotenuse, right? This is the opposite. Now your cos theta equals to y over what? And your y equals to ux cos theta. So your horizontal component is what? Ux cos theta. Do you get me? And your vertical component. Now for your vertical component, we are looking for this side, right? So we are looking for this side. Let's say this side is z. Now for your vertical component, you'll be having what? What are you going to be having? That will be, this is opposite, right? This is hypotenuse. That is opposite hypotenuse. That is sine. Sine theta equals to z over z equals to what? So here we are having what? Ux sine theta. Do you get me? That is your horizontal and vertical components of the initial velocity. Please note that. Now let's pick questions on this. Let's pick questions on projectile. Let's pick a question on projectile. Let's pick a question on projectile. So let's solve this question. This is a why question. So a body is projected with a velocity of what? 80 meters per second at an angle 30 degrees to the horizontal. Calculate its time taken to reach the maximum height. Time taken to reach the maximum height. Now, I told you the other time that our time taken is what? T equals to what? U sine theta over what? G. Where this theta is your what? Angle of projection. And this U is your initial velocity. This G is your what? Time, is your acceleration due to gravity. Now you can see that our acceleration due to gravity is not given. And please note that your acceleration due to gravity is always what? 10 meters per second square. 10 meters per second square. But assuming you are given in your question, let's say you are given in the question that your G, take your G as 9.8 meters per second square. You will use the one given to you. Are you getting me? But assuming you are not given, you use what? You use your 10 meters per second square. Now let's solve our T, our U. Let's write our parameters out. Our U is what? 80 meters per second. Our angle is what? 30 degree. Which other parameters do we have? And our G is what? 10 meters per second square. Now let's impute these parameters. Let's impute it in our formula and let's see what we are going to get. Let's put these parameters in our formula. Substituting our given parameters, let's see what we are going to have. That is the time taken to reach our maximum height is t equals to, what is our u? That is 80 sine 30 over what? Over 10. That is 80. Now what is sine 30? Please, all these are special angles. You don't need calculator to solve all these things. Now, sine 30 is 1 over 2, cos 30 is 3 over 2, cos sine 60 is 3 over 2. Anything you have as your cos 30 will also be your sine 60. Anything you have as your sine 60 will be your cos 60. Your sine 30 will be your cos 60. That's 1 over 2. So all these things, please know it. And we also have for tan. Tan 60 is 3. Tan 30 is 1 over 3. And let's continue. Now, we know this as what? 1 over 2. That is 1 over 2 over 10. Now, let's multiply. That is 40, right? 2 can go here. That is 40. Now, 40 times 1, that is 40. Then, over what? Over 10. 0 we cancel 0. We have what? 4. So that is 4 seconds. Please always write your SI unit. Always write your SI unit. Now let's go to the next question. We have time of flight. They say we should calculate the time of flight. Now let's calculate the time of flight. Now the time of flight is what? T equals to 2u sine theta over g. Almost the same thing as what you have here. What they're asking you is that you should multiply 2 by what? Your time taken to reach the maximum height. That is t equals to 2 times u sine theta over g. And we have already gotten this here. If you look at our first question, our first solution here, we have gotten u sine theta over g as what? As 4. So that is t equals to 2 times 4 seconds. And we're going to have what? That is 2 times 4, that is 8 seconds. We have gotten that without no stress because we have found this in our first solution. Now, let's go to the third question. We are going to find our maximum height. Now, our maximum height is what? H equals to what? H equals to u squared sine squared theta over what? 2g. Now, let's use this formula to find our what? Our maximum height. Now, the maximum height attained, since we know our u as what? Our u is 80, our angle is what? 30 degree, and our g is 10 meter per second square. Now, our h will now be what? That is 80 squared sine squared 30 over 2 times 10. And I told you, if you have sine squared theta, it's also the same thing as sine theta, everything all squared. So now it will be 80 times 80 sine, that is sine 30, everything all squared. Then over what? 20. Then let's continue. We are going to have 80 times 80, that is 6,400. And sine 30, I've write it here. So that is 1 over 2 squared. And over what? Over 20. Now 0 we cancel 0. Now 2 in 64, that is 30. 2 in this 0, that is 320. Now let's continue. Now we are having h equals to what? H equals to 320 times what? Times 1 over 2 squared. Then over 1. Then our h equals to 320 times 1 over 4. Because by the time you square 1, you get 1. By the time you square 2, you get 4. Now our h, now divided by 1, we still get that number. Anything divided by 1, we still get that same number. Now let's cut it. 4 here 1, 4 here, that is 80. So we have 80 meter. Now let's go to the last question, which is our horizontal range. Now our horizontal range, which is r. Our r will be what? U squared sine 2 theta over what? G. U squared sine 2 theta over G. And our r equals to, our u squared is already given. Our u is what? 80. That is 80 squared sine 2. Now 2 theta, that is 2 times your angle. Are you getting me? 2 times your angle. That is 30 over. Our G is what? 10. Now our R equals to 80 times 80 sine 2 times 30, that is 60 over what? 10. Now we have 6,400. Now sine 60 is what? Look at it. Sine 60 is 3 over 2. Now please always learn how to put your angles, all these special angles, in short form, because in JAMB you will not be given calculator, so you must know how to put all these angles in what? Short form. You must know how to use sort to put your angles in short form. Now this 0 we cancel 0, then we have what? R equals to what? 640 times root 3 over 2, then divided by 1. Then we have 2 and 640, we have 320. That is 320 times root 3 over 1. We are going to have r equals to 320 times root 3. Because anything divided by 1 is still that same thing. We have 320 root 3 meter. That is our horizontal range. So if they ask you to find the horizontal range, this is the formula we are going to use. Except if they are asking you to find your maximum range. Assuming it is maximum range, we are not going to use what? At this angle, the formula we are going to use is what? We are going to use R equals to R squared. R equals to U squared over what? G. This is the formula we are going to use. If it is maximum range, our R maximum is what? U squared over G. I've gotten this the other time, right? So this is the formula we are going to use. So you just put your U squared, which is what? 80 squared over what? 10. And you put it inside that formula. And you get your answer. So let's also look at another example. So let's look at the second example. Now, an object is projected with a velocity of 100 meters per second from the ground level at an angle theta to the vertical. If the total time of flight of the projectile is 10 seconds, calculate theta. They are asking us to calculate the angle of projection. Now let's show this. Let's show this. Diagram. Let's show this. An object is projected, right, at an angle theta, which we don't know, with a velocity of 100 meter per second. This is the velocity from the ground. Now they say if the total time of flight, now the total time of flight of the projectile is what? 10 seconds. Now if so, they said at an angle theta to the vertical. Now to the vertical, this is the horizontal, while this is the vertical, right? So this side will be theta, right? This is the vertical, right? So this is where we are asked to find. This side is where we are asked to find. Are you getting me? So if this side is theta, this side is what? 90 minus theta. Why? Because we are having a right angle here, right? We are having a right angle. So this side will be 90 minus theta. This side will be theta. Now, we know that our time of flight is what? What is the formula for time of flight? That is 2u sine theta over what? Over g. Now, look at this question. We are given the value of g, which is what? 10 meters per second square. Now, let's input our value. Now, your t is equal to what? 2u, that is 2 times u. What is our u? That is 100 meters per second. Then sine what? What is our theta? That is what we are finding, right? Over what? Over g. Now, what is our g? That is 10. Now look at the question. They say if the total time of flight is what? 10 seconds. That means we are given this total time of flight. We are given here as what? 10. Are you getting me? We are given here as 10. So what will you do? That is 10 equals to 200 sine theta over what? Over 10. Are you getting me? Now look at this angle. Look at it. This theta is not the theta itself. It's what? 90 minus theta. Are you getting me? So this side should be 90 minus theta. Are you getting me? This angle should be what? 90 minus theta. Let's make this 90 minus theta. Are you getting me? Because the angle here. So over 10, right? So what are we going to have? Now cross multiply, we have 10 times 10 equals to what? 200 sine 90 minus theta. Then we have 100 equals to 200 sine. Now divide both sides by what? 200. Now let's see. 100 over 200 equals to sine 90 minus theta. Now what are we going to have? 0 cancel 0. We are remaining with what? 1 over 2 equals to sine 90 minus theta. Are you getting me? Now our aim is to find this angle of projection. Now what will you do? Find arc sine of both sides. By the time you find arc sine of both sides, you are remaining with arc sine of 1 over 1 of 1 over 2 equals to what? 90 minus theta. Because by the time you find the arc sine of here, arc sine, we cancel sine. Are you getting me? So we'll be left with, now what is the arc sine of 1 over 2? I told you the other time that sine 1 over sine 30 equals to what? 1 over 2, right? If you recall, sine 30 is what? 1 over 2. So the arc sine of this will give you this. The arc sine of this will give you this. So we are going to have 30 equals to what? 30 degree equals to 90 minus theta. So bringing this to this side, or you do this to this side and bring this to this side, then we have theta equals to 90 minus, coming to this side become plus. Now bring this to this side become minus.